Hello everyone, it's Peter here, PS How you doing, guys? Hello. So, I was doing this JBL speaker the other day, Partybox 100, and I didn't record a video about it. What did I do? But I took photos and I want to share it with you because somebody might attempt Partybox 100 from JBL to repair, and they will be in the pickle as I was. So, there is I would say there is a 24 volts about 24 volts, I'd say. I can't tell you exactly how much. I would have to go back to the reference of my first repair of different JBL Party 100. But I don't remember when it was. I can't recall, maybe half a year, 1 year, I don't know. So anyways, that one is a power supply, which I can't see now. Oh, it dropped. That's the power supply, okay? This beauty has a dead transformer, unfortunately. I removed here one capacitor and this transistor or something, or double diode. Anyways, I removed that and I've checked and it was still short on the capacitor, but the current was going into the transformer, yes? So it should put something out, and it didn't put anything. So if it doesn't put out anything and it gets the voltage, so either it doesn't get the proper voltage, proper frequency, or it's dead. Well, as I've seen, you know that all other components looks okay, so I had to say that the transformer is faulty. So I had to replace it. And what to replace it with, you might be asking. Well, I didn't know what the voltage was, but I see here is 35 volts written on the capacitor. Another capacitor which was there as well, it's as well 2200 microfarads this time, 2035 volts as well. So I've checked capacitors on the PCB and all of them were up to 35 volts. So I took my bench power supply and I started off 15 volts and I've tested and I've seen that if I don't block the amperes, it's going on. Yes, it's going on the power supply. So I did say to myself, okay, I don't know if that PCB is good with under voltage, so I can't use 15 volts. So I said I need to put like 24 volts ish, yes, and I'll be happy. So I took DC to DC back converter, and unfortunately this one was too hot. I didn't want to keep it inside. It was so hot that I've decided not to put it. I bought a power supply which is 29 volts and I didn't want to put 29 volts because that's to charge 24 volts batteries. So I said that's a bad solution. You know, like, let's not go there. So I've neglected it. I said to the customer, look, I'll put you laptops 19 volts, and that which I've placed was 3.5 amp roughly. So I put that one and it's working fine. It was working fine on the 15 volt. Yes, I didn't want to have 15 volts because I said, you know, under voltage might not be good. But 19 volts, fingers crossed, will last for a long time. If no, something will fail, but I didn't have any other choice. I would have to either create a switching power supply which would give us 24 volts, or I would have to order one, or I would have to say no fix, yes, to the customer. So I said, you know, what we're doing, and customer said, well, I trust your experience and so on. So I said, okay, well, we can, the cheapest, the quickest and the most efficient way for us at the moment is just put 19 volts. Yes, as I've seen, it was working fine on the 15 volts. I've plugged it in and 19 volts was fine. As it's a 3.5 amp, and I've seen on 15 volts that it's taking most of the time 1 amp, 15 watts. So in the extreme, if that would take, let's say, 30 watts of power, and that power supply is 65 watts, shouldn't overheat too much, shouldn't do any problem, shouldn't get hot, even warm, should be warm. So I decided let's leave it like that. I'll show you photos because I took photos. Okay, so that's the connector which I've used, yes, and the connector, it's isolated with thermal shrink wraps, yes. And as well, there is a second video. You see, I had to crack some things to fit it in, but eventually I've managed, and I've glue it, not glue it, but screw it in here. So everything is robust, and here is the entry for the connector. It's fine. I would say it should last, yes. Now, I don't like to swap whole components like power supplies, but unfortunately, if I don't know on the parameters of the transformer and I see voltage coming in, it would take me too much hassle and too higher cost for the customer to do it properly fixed, to do it as a proper fix. I would love to do it. I would love to do it. This is more of a replacement than the work, and a bit dodgy because we assume things rather than base it on facts. But I don't want to unwind this transformer, check what frequency is used, and then apply that to the new power supply, because again, that's a cost for the customer. And if I will say to the customer that I need to charge him for extra 2 hours of work, because I need to make a research, then do my calculations, then test the theory, and then make a proper solution, that would probably be 2 more hours. So let's, just for the argument's sake, let's say you are the customer and I'm telling you 50 or 100 pound fix. Most of the people will take 50, let's say, just for argument's sake, yes? Because for 50 quid I can buy some transformer, I mean switching power supply, or use my collection of laptop power supplies, yes, which is 3 point something amps, which is more than enough, because I've seen on my bench power supply how many amperes it was taking. Or fix the proper power supply, which I don't have specification of. I got some symbols here. I could maybe, by a matter of luck, get it and maybe find it in China somewhere and then wait X amount of time before I'll order it, and assume, yes. And then as well, if I want to buy 2, I won't unwind and I won't see that it's the same. I can assume again that's the proper solution. So as you see, it's too many variables to do it the right way. So I'm choosing to do it the quick way. Yes, I agree. It's a whole power supply replacement. Totally get it. Maybe one day I will have an apprentice and he will be able to look into the problem and figure it out and fix it, and this will go on the shelf. Partybox 100, yes, JBL. Maybe will be for another customer who will come with a faulty Partybox. I would be happy to desolder this transformer here, unwind it, wind it back if possible. I would be more than happy to do it if I would have time. And not always it's nice to, sometimes I'm opening them and I'm cracking them open, so not always you can get them back to work. So it's a risk, it's high amount of risk. Comment down below what you would do. Comment down below if you've got a proper voltage of that power supply, because I don't remember. I've opened it in 2022 and I just don't recall what was the voltage. I could maybe assume that was 24 volts, but that's again a gamble. I've seen it was working from 15. I've seen on a capacitors 35. I would say this 19 volts is a bit slightly edgy. Still better than that 15 what I had on the power supply, and only time can tell to be true. That's it, guys, that's everything. If you did like, leave us some like button, and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. If possible, let's fix them all. Yo.